Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, pardon me for coming on late. Welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I'm a reporter, as you can see by my official New York City press card, which I will get renewed next week rather. And I see my guest is here already. I just have to go through this disclosure statement that I write for the Bronx Post and the Parkchester Times. Both like this show are part of Parrot Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News. I have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, along with Facebook pages 100% and what is going on in your community board. The views expressed on the show are that of the host, any guest, or anyone who is commenting at the bottom of the screen, not necessarily those of Parrot Media. I will skip our weather report, but it is going to be cold, and 1 to 3 inches of snow is expected Monday, with several feet of snow possible later in the month in many of our cities, including New York City. So let me go right to my guest, Councilwoman Christy Marmorato. So are you there, Christy?
I am here. How are you?
Good morning, Christy. How are you?
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, too. What happened is I've been watching Governor Kathy Hochul is introducing legislation to, let's see, where'd it go? In response to New York Governor Hochul's plans to introduce legislation to finally change New York's involuntary commitment standards. So the mayor has commented on that, and unfortunately, that's what I was doing. That's why I'm a little late. Now, welcome back to the show, Councilwoman. You've been in office now for over 1 year, including 2 days or 3 days. And you've been doing many different things all over the district that has not been seen before in several years. So how did your first year go?
My first year went great. I'm very happy with how it's going, or how it went. You know, first getting in, we had no transition. So it was really all about letting the community know what type of services they are entitled to and how our office can help them have like a relationship with the different city agencies to get things done here in our district.
I have gone over some of your expenses that you've given out, and it's a tremendous amount all across the district. Do you want to talk about some of them?
Sure. I mean, it was very important for me to make sure that our, capital and discretionary funding stays here within our community. We did provide some funding for both of our little leagues, Pelham Bay and Throgs Neck. We did about over 500 turkeys, 500 toy giveaways. We did provide the FDNY with a nice check in order to have them acquire a robotic dog in order to help aid with the collapses in the city throughout New York City. We got funding for the NYPD. We were able to acquire a drone for them to help aid in the recovery efforts in Orchard Beach. The drone will specifically be for Orchard Beach. We got $10 million for an upgrade for the 49th precinct. We have given money to DSNY, about $100,000 just this year alone, for them to help alleviate any of the trash throughout the trash cans all along the main avenues and have them replenish that a couple of days a week. We gave a lot of money to veteran services. We were able to work with the speaker, and I'm very proud to say this, and we acquired $4 million for the City Island Library.
Okay. You left out a little bit about seniors.
We did about $400,000 in senior programming and about $2.8 million for youth programming and capital funding for school projects.
And I see that you gave about 15 different cultural organizations and civic organizations a lot of money.
Yes, we did. We're trying to make sure that everybody gets a piece of the pie, and we want to be very fair.
So it looks like you've done a lot this first year.
Yeah, the one thing that I am very proud of is when I got into this role and I started campaigning last year, I found out that there was no pre-K program on City Island. And the minute I got into office, I called anybody that would listen to me and really advocated and fought to get a pre-K program in the school, in the PS school on City Island Avenue. And we were able to get 18 seats for a pre-K4 program.
Now, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but 3 people have officially lined up against you, and a 4th one has said he's going to run against you. And one of those people comes from City Island. Since you've done so much for City Island, I don't know how this person from City Island is going to be able to run against you.
Well, listen, I welcome anybody that's going to run against me. Anybody that wants to have a better district and a better community. I mean, God bless them. It's a good thing that they really want to fight for our community. And
one of the other people who have lined up to run against you have filed with the Campaign Finance Board happens to be a union leader, 32BJ. And they gave money to your opponent last year. I received about a dozen or 15 different posters, different campaign materials under union names, of which I found out this 32BJ gave $250,000 to Labor Strong, which sent out most of these, things. So, I mean, this is a person coming from a union that the union backed your opponent last time, and now they're coming straight at you. Any words on that?
No, I did it without the unions last year, and if we have to do it again without them, we're going to.
And this person also happens to live like 8 blocks from where the proposed casino is, and she has already said that she's in favor of development and in favor of the casino. So any words on the casino?
No, I'm in the process of really getting the feedback from the community, especially the people that are going to be directly impacted. I have been making my rounds through Locust Point, Edgewater Park, Spencer Estates, Throgs Neck, and I'm looking to get into Silver Beach as well.
Because, I mean, I don't think that's a good location. First of all, you're going to alienate parkland, and there's a process that you have to go through to alienate parkland. And when I was on Community Board 8, we had this for the water filtration plant that was built in Van Cortlandt Park. And it had to go through 3 community boards because the park touched 3 community boards. I know it's Community Board 10, but Community Board 11 is also involved because it's right near there. And it's part of your district too, Community Board 11 and 10. And as far as it goes, I would be concerned if I lived right near there, if I lived, right at that area in Ferry Point. And I know there are people who live in Ferry Point, and they went there because it's a beautiful, secluded area where it's quiet, and you're going to bring supposedly a casino in. I don't get this, and from what I understand, Jeff Klein, the former state senator, is representing Bally's. He's going to be at a meeting next week at the Morris Park Community Association. So I'm sure he's going to get a lot of questions from the community about that. Why is he doing it? But let's move on to something else now. What do you see coming this year for you? What are you looking for?
Well, last year we were excited to bring concerts back to the community because that was one of our biggest requests. And this year we are probably going to do one of the biggest concerts that this district has seen in a very long time. And I'm excited to, be a part of that. I really would like to focus on getting and creating more pre-K seats here in our district. We did have an issue where parents were pushed to the other side of the Bronx for an open seat, and I don't think that that's very fair. So I have 2 schools already who have the space and are willing to open up their pre-K program. So that's going to be our next step, is to really fight and advocate for that. And I'd really like to focus on some legislation this year.
Now, before you go to the legislation, I understand that you helped get PS 108 into a middle school, also K to 8 school. And what's the progress on PS 105?
105, we're still in the process. There's a way to go about things. I've been a part of almost every meeting. If I couldn't attend, I'd have a staff member attend. I'm here to support those families because I know what it's like as a parent. And especially, I know how hard it is for parents who have kids in different schools. You have to take your kid to the one school, take the middle schooler to another school. And it's a lot of chaos in the morning. And unfortunately, the closest school is across Pelham Parkway, and these kids wind up crossing Pelham Parkway, not in the intersection, let's be honest. And it's a public safety issue. So I'm gonna back them as much as possible and really fight for that because it's very important to the families. I've met with the families, I've gotten their petitions, I've sat and spoken with them, and I'm here to support them.
Okay, so let's go into some of what you want to do this coming year.
One piece of legislation I would like to pass is to get airway clearing devices within the schools as a second line of defense after the Heimlich maneuver. I have one in my house. I know I feel an extra barrier of comfort just in case, God forbid, there is a choking event. I'd like to see that happen. We would like to have more reporting from the e-scooter companies and enforcement, if possible, for these people who are breaking the law and just using our streets like the Wild Wild West.
Well, in case you don't know, the City Bike program is raising their prices right the day after the congestion pricing is supposed to go into effect. So, what can I tell you? They're going to charge more for cars, and you're going to be charged with, to come in with your car. So they're telling you to take alternate transportation, and City Bike now is raising their prices. So. And
the train is going to go up this year as well, up to, I think, $3. I was reading something on that.
So it's crazy. They're trying to get you any way they can. Before I let you go, any other issue that you want to talk about?
The e-scooters that we have in our district, I think that they are really like a big problem in the sense of our community is not set up for them. And I feel like they're oversaturating us, whether it's Pelham Parkway all the way down Tremont Avenue. There's really no place or space for it. I understand people do use it as a last mile. I support any kind of biking or e-scooters, but I just feel like people don't own these scooters, so they don't respect them and they just litter and toss them anywhere, and they become a safety hazard for our community.
That's right. I've seen them at bus stops, at the exits in the back where people are coming off of the bus and these e-scooters are laying on their side. So it's a real dangerous situation.
It is a very dangerous situation. And I've spoken to the DOT and I said, you have to build some kind of corrals. But what's been brought to my attention is that Pelham Parkway is getting really inundated with the more like bike looking scooters, which are big, bulky, and they're blocking the sidewalks. And we cannot have any of that. And we've tried to be in contact with that company as well, because we need a little pushback. Okay,
well, I'm going to thank you for coming on right now. We're going to go to a commercial. I have a lot of news to get into in the second half. So once again, thank you for coming on. I invite all of your opponents who are running against you to come on and tell them why they think they're better than you. I think you're doing a great job, and I hope to see you again in 2026. So Thank you for coming on the show.
One more time in 2025, right?
We'll see you again, hopefully, this coming year. So you can talk, give us more about what you're doing. And let me go to a commercial right now, Mr. Producer. Thank you.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post. Changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, I just want to say that I invite my friends in the city council, the Democrats, Eric Dinowitz, who I was the Parrots Association president, where he was in eighth grade. Oswald Felice, a good friend of mine, Kevin Riley, who I was just at a turkey giveaway with. I invite you guys to come on. Amanda Farias, who I know, all of the city council members, Althea Stevens, all of you, Karina Sanchez, and congratulations on your new baby, Karina. I invite all of you to come on the show and discuss what you're doing here in the city council. I know in Karina's district, the new Kingsbridge Armory proposal has come about, and I'd like her to come on and discuss the Kingsbridge Armory proposal when she gets back to work. So, all right, let me get into news. There's been a lot of problems across the country. In New Orleans, there was a killing spree, and although the authorities no longer believe there are any suspects involved in the New Year's truck attack on Bourbon Street that killed 14 people and injured about 35 people. The FBI said that after investigations, they've reviewed all of the surveillance video more closely. It appears that the suspect, 42-year-old Army veteran Shamsur Din Jabbar, also died in the attack, placed explosive devices in the area himself. And then he changed clothes. Multiple law enforcement sources told the ABC News. There is no additional threat to the public. Christopher Ria of the FBI said he called the attacks a premeditated act of terrorism. There were 5 videos posted on Jabbar's Facebook account, which are timestamped beginning at 1:29 a.m. The attack occurred at 3:35 a.m., and the last video was posted at 3:02 a.m. Raji said in the first video, Jabbar explains that he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the war between the believers and the disbelievers. An ISIS flag was recovered at the back of the truck, it was said, and after Jabbar mowed down dozens of people over the 3-block stretch of the world-famous thoroughfare on Bourbon Street while firing into the crowd, police said he then exited the damaged vehicle armed with an assault rifle and opened fire on police officers, law enforcement said. He was also armed with a handgun, they said. Officers returned fire, killing Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas, and at least 2 officers were injured, one by gunfire, the other when the officer was pinned by the truck, authorities said. Now, that was not the only incident on New Year's Day. In Las Vegas, 1 person died and 7 other people were injured Wednesday, New Year's Day, when a Tesla Cybertruck that appeared to be carrying fireworks caught fire and exploded outside President-elect Donald Trump Las Vegas hotel, authorities said. The fire in the valet area of the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas was reported at 8:40 a.m., a county spokesperson said in a statement. According to law enforcement officials, the truck was rented via the Turo app and appeared to have a load of fireworks. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said Wednesday afternoon that the explosion was caused by a very large fireworks or bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck, and it is unrelated to the vehicle itself. Law enforcement officials, though, have not ruled out terrorism as a possible motive. The driver, 37-year-old Matthew Livenberg, shot himself in the head, it is said, before detonations, and it was said that the steel in the vehicle of the Tesla absorbed much of the damage. Now, 2 days before that, here on White Plains Road, one of the intended targets at a shooting at a convenience store of a shooting. The convenience store was located at 3544 White Plains Road. He used a mother who was waiting, to purchase something as a human shield for protection from the gunfire, police said. 2 suspects opened fire on a group of people outside the convenience store just before 5 p.m. Monday in the Bronx and fired again at the intended target, fled inside, police said. Police said the 40-year-old mother and her 12-year-old daughter were at the counter of the convenience store when the intended targets entered the store. One of the intended targets turned the mother around and used her as a shield as shots were fired into the store, police said. Police said the mother was shot in the stomach and her daughter was shot in the leg. We had a brazen and heartless attack by two shooters who opened fire in the middle of the street and into a crowded convenience store, striking 6 people. New York City Police Department Chief of Department John Schell said 4 men ages 18 to 21 were also shot in their arms and legs. Police said that convenience store is littered with shattered glass from the hail of bullets, of which 10 to 15 shots were heard, and people were all dropping to the ground. Now, Senator Jamal Bailey, who represents the area, made a statement on the White Plains Road shooting. He goes, yesterday's act, this was on Tuesday, yesterday's act on violence on White Plains Road is unacceptable and deeply troubling. My heart goes out to the 12-year-old girl and her mother who was senselessly caught in this tragic incident. We've been in contact with the precinct, and while the investigation remains ongoing, they will deploy more officers in that area. I would like to thank the NYPD, specifically the 47th Precinct, for their tireless effort in prioritizing the safety and peace of our community. The Bronx is resilient. We have overcome challenges before, and we cannot allow senseless violence to define us. However, resilience is not enough. We must respond to these incidents like this with unity and purpose. And now, more than ever, we must continue to invest significant resources into gun violence prevention. And so we need action to address the root cause of these crimes so there are no more families and loved ones that have to endure this pain in the future. I invite you, Senator Jamal Bailey, to come on here and talk to me about this and tell me why you supported the no cash bail, because if these people are caught, since nobody was killed, they're likely to be out tomorrow, the next day. Okay, so Senator Bailey, what are you doing about the no cash bail so these people get locked up? On a sadder note, former President Jimmy Carter, a no-frills and steel-willed Southern governor who was elected the 39th president in 1976, I almost said 1776, was rejected by disillusioned voters after a single term and went on to an extraordinary post-presidential life that included winning the Nobel Peace Prize. He died Sunday at his home in Plains, Georgia. He was 100 years old. Former President Carter will lay in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol from January 7th through the morning of January 9th. President Joe Biden has already announced a proclamation declaring a national day of mourning on January 9th, where the large public funeral service is scheduled in Washington. He also ordered U.S. flags to be flown at half-staff for 30 days on federal buildings, military posts, and naval stations, as well as all naval vessels. At the conclusion of the public viewing, Carter's body will then be taken to the state funeral, likely at the National Cathedral, since Congress approved the cathedral's charter in 1893. Nearly all memorial services for U.S. presidents have been held there. Speaking of the Capitol, as I speak right now, the 119th Congress is meeting for the first time, and they have started with a pledge, a prayer, and a quorum call before turning to the real business of the day, electing a new speaker and swearing in the new members in that order. House Republicans have the majority, and they will choose the speaker. They will do so with the second smallest majority in American history, and Republican Speaker Mike Johnson can only afford to have one Republican vote against him. Johnson's allies are cautiously optimistic. Several of them repeated Johnson's prediction that he will win gavel in the first round of voting, but even if he doesn't win immediately, they're confident that Johnson will prevail. Why are they confident? 4 words. President-elect Donald Trump. The president-elect has already endorsed Johnson. Trump is prepared to make calls to get any stragglers in line if Johnson doesn't win on the first ballot. Okay, but what if Johnson does not make it? Who will step up then? There are 3 members of the Republican Party who have seemingly the best shot at becoming Speaker. Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and Congressman Jim Jordan. But all 3 have their own GOP holdouts. And by the way, these are the 3 people who were mentioned the last time that Speaker Johnson was running. They were alternates back then, too. A new speaker must be elected, though, before the House can take up official business. And one of the first pieces of official business is certifying Trump's 2024 victory. And it is scheduled, and the House is scheduled for a joint session on Monday to do that. So you can expect Congress to stick around through the weekend to make sure that they elect the speaker. The New York Police Department has seen a shakeup from Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who ousted dozens of NYPD bosses in a shocking Saturday purge, beginning with the department's Internal Affairs Bureau. Deputy Chief Chris Morello, the number 2 boss at the Bureau, whose mission is to weed out bad cops, was removed from his post. This comes a week after the Internal Affairs top boss, Chief of Internal Affairs, Miguel Inglacia, was removed. Inspector Joseph Profita, who was the head of Internal Affairs Group 1, was moved Saturday to patrol Borough Brooklyn North. The group investigates allegations regarding NYPD brass with the rank of captain or above. Inspector Mike Riccardi of Special Ops was sent to patrol Borough Manhattan North. Another dozen IAB bosses, ranging from lieutenants to sergeants, were sent packing to precincts across the city. 6 members of former Chief Madry's office, 5 detectives, and 1 police officer were also transferred. Early this month, Commissioner Tisch ordered 500 officers who had been improperly transferred to go back to their regular assignments. The practice was known as telephone message transfers and led to the lack of boots on the ground in some areas and therefore slower responses. There is a new chief, as I said, I mentioned him before, John Shell, who has been tapped to permanently place former chief of the department, Jeffrey Madry, as the New York City Police Department's chief of department after Madry's resignation. Shell has taken over on an interim base and will now become the police department's highest ranking uniform officer. Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced the personnel move as well as new other official appointments for chief of patrol and chief of internal affairs, all effective immediately. Shell's former post, chief of patrol, was filled by Philip Rivera, the department's ex-chief of transportation. Edward A. Thompson, a 38-year veteran of the department, was named the permanent chief of internal affairs after holding that on an interim basis. In 2025, New York City Police Department will build on the gains of the past year to make every New York City neighborhood even safer, Commissioner Tisch said in a statement announcing the appointments. And over the weekend, though, it should be noted that the FBI has raided former chief of the department, Madry's apartments. He had 2 apartments, 2 houses, I should say. They have raided and taken information. Apparently, it is not known publicly why they have done that, but it appears that he is now under further investigation. If you're riding the subways, you may rejoice that the Guardian Angels are resuming patrols on the New York City subway cars. The announcement comes after a woman was fatally set ablaze on a Brooklyn F train, and that woman has finally been identified as Deborah Kawa, 59 years old, of Toms River, New Jersey. The Guardian Angels stated after the incident, hundreds of citizens requested their return to the subway trains. On Sunday, a spokesman for the group said they would host a conference to outline their new patrol strategy, which will focus on conducting wellness checks on homeless and emotionally disturbed individuals, providing water to homeless and emotionally disturbed individuals who may be dehydrated, reporting any issues with running trains to the NYPD. The Guardian Angels are dedicated to foster stronger and more compassionate communities through volunteer-driven initiatives, their website reads. And I am going to close with the city bike increases. City bike prices will be going up starting January 6th, one day after congestion pricing is set to go into effect. The company announced for non-members it will cost $4.99 for a ride. Using an e-bike will now cost 38 cents a minute. Overage charges will cost 38 cents per minute for both e-bikes and regular bikes. Overage charges count each minute past the first 30 minutes on a single ride. These prices are up from the current $4.79 to open the city bike and 36 cents per minute on the e-bike, and overage charges that were raised in July of 2024. For members, e-bike and overage rates will rise to 25 cents per minute. There will be no increase to the annual membership prices. These rates apply to Lyft Pink, all access members. Reduced fare riders will pay 13 cents per minute for using an e-bike and 25 cents per minute for overage charges. There will be no charge for the no change to the monthly membership price for reduced fare riders. A one-day pass will increase from the current $19 to $25 starting February 3rd. The increase will mark the third time within 13 months City Bike has raised its prices. These price changes only affect riders in New York City. New Jersey member e-bike per minute and overage fees will be at 21 cents a minute. New Jersey reduced fare bike share e-members e-bike per minute fees will be at 11 cents per minute and overage fees at 21 cents a minute. New Jersey non-member e-bike per minute overages will be only at 32 cents a minute. Since It's City Bike is a New York, New Jersey company, perhaps one of our members of Congress like Richie Torres or Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, or even both of them, should look at the discrepancy in prices that City Bike is charging from one state to another. And I will close with that and say thank you for watching. Thank you to Council Member Christy Marmorato for coming on the show. And thank you for watching. And I will see you next week. Hopefully one of our other Bronx City Council members will be my guest, but I doubt it because I've been told they don't want the Democrats to come on my show. So thank you for watching and have a good day.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. Do you know?
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV.